Hey everyone, welcome back. What you can see in front of me is this stamped image that I've just done. Just created that. It was a blue type of brushed worked paper from Stampin' Up. It's got this on the other side. But I just wanted to show you how, if you don't have a certain piece of paper and you want to make your own paper, you can do so by just stamping on top of either a plain white. I tend to use 12 by 12s. You could do an A4, of course, which isn't quite as daunting maybe, if that's how you think about it. But this is just a lovely 12 by 12, and I've used the stamps I got from my swap. So I've used the tiny butterfly because you will see on the video before this I made a mixed media card and I forgot to put the butterfly on it, so when it was more or less dried now, I put some of the wee butterflies, and that does just finish it off. So this card you should have seen on the video before this one. So I decided that I'd use the clock and the butterfly from this one, and then I've added a few of my own other stamps that I had, and I've just used the Versa Clair Inks dye inks just to make this background. So now that can be cut up and used as is. So I've got another piece of card which is very similar, so it's like a bit of a wash of paint on the back. This is another Stampin' Up one. So I can still use either side of that, so it's not wasted. I can still use this side. I can cut so much from like half of that to there and then use this other half, so it's not wasted. I just liked this. I mean, I probably could create this myself, but I just felt like doing a little bit of stamping. Nothing too difficult or anything like that. This is quite therapeutic to do, and if you've got some nice stamps or smaller stamps you want to make a little bit of a background, it's really good for doing that. But you can use any stamps. These are just the stamps I got, as I say, from the swap that I did with Andrea. So it's Imagination Crafts art stamps, and these are the stamps. They're lovely, really do like them. Should give me a nice stencil, which I will use. I've not used that yet, but I will use that. So I thought I'd come on and just do something similar, but I'm going to use the bigger stamp this time, and I'm going to get it straight onto the block because it's not very straight there. So I'm just going to use the Versa Clair colours again that I've got on my desk. Yeah, just make a background, and you know, it's very therapeutic. It really is. This it's very therapeutic. So you can just start anywhere on your page. You could, I know one of my subscribers said she tried, isn't that gorgeous, she tried to do a 12 by 12 sheet and she said it turned out a mess. So perhaps on this video or another video, this one is just going to be random, so maybe in another video I can show you how to make 4 or maybe 6 cards on a 12 sheet, a 12 by 12 sheet, and maybe we can just draw a wee kind of grid where that you would follow. So just inking this up. I mean, that stamp is just gorgeous. Probably if I got a bit of a foam pad under some of it, I could have a better, because these bits haven't quite stamped it. That's okay. But if you put something like a foam pad or some magazines underneath, you can get a better kind of image. Just because I'm stamping straight onto a glass board. So I'm just, as I say, randomly putting them. I'm not thinking too much about it. This you know, crafting is my therapy. I love it. And thinking about overthinking things too much is, if you're doing that, I think it's, you know, it's not a good therapy to have. Just go and do it. Yeah, you can do a bit of planning, obviously, but don't get too wound up about it because it's not worth it. I'm just going to do a second sort of generation one there. I don't know if I'll get a third generation. I might get a bit of one. Not really. I might just do a few other wee bits where it's just coming off the page. So I've just stamped, inked half the stamp here. And I'll just see if I can get a second generation there. Kind of it. And I'll just do another one in the middle, kind of, as well. Just like that. That's fine. Maybe get that one at the top. And that's fine. That's all I'm going to do with that stamp. So I'm then going to introduce another colour. Now, let me see what colours we've got. Don't want to be too bright. So what colour did I use there? Was that the grey? Right, let me see. Let's put, I'm saying I don't want to be too bright, but I'm now going to put on this orange. So this is the clock, pocket watch even. And I'm just going to randomly stamp this over as well. Just, if you've stamped it there, you could stamp it there again. You don't have to, but that's just me. And if it doesn't quite print out properly, it doesn't matter. I'll put a second generation one there and another one there. I can put one up the top there. I'll try our second generation here. That's okay. One down, or maybe there. Yeah, just don't overthink it too much, because that's when it becomes not fun. Right, so we've got that as well. So let's see what other ones we've got. So we've got the butterfly. So let's put the butterfly on, and I'm going to put the butterfly on in Warm Breeze Blue. And I'm just going to put a few randomly around. You can turn it a different way as well. Don't have to all be the same way. And then you can do a few second and third generation if you want to. Like that. There we go. Now let's bring in some of these other ones that I've got here. So I've got this dotty one that I used. Where is it? Over here. This kind of dotty one. So I used the dotty one which I used here, and I did use some splats as well. Now we've also got some cogs here, so we could actually use these cogs as well for the dotty ones. So let's just put that cog on, and I'm just going to go in with, I'm not going to get too bright. Oh got this one, Versa Clair, which is Shady Lane. So I'll just go in with that a couple of places. I could do a second generation as well. Alright, so that's that wee cog. There's another two, so this one, let's do this in a slightly, I'll do it in the grey again, I think. Oh, let's maybe take that to the, so it's just filling in clusters, really, sort of cluster areas. Well, there's no right or wrong way to do this, I can assure you. It's actually I just find it very therapeutic, just stamping these. So let's get a tiny block again for this little one, and we're just going to do it in grey again. So a couple there. I think that's basically me done, because I don't really want to go too OTT. I think it's quite pleasing like that. I've used most of the stamps on this one. Now, the only other thing I could do if I wanted was add some script. I don't know if I'm going to add this now. I might. Oh, maybe I will. Maybe I'll just add this a wee bit. And just that'll be enough, because I don't want to overpower it too much. Just a wee bit at each kind of focal point. Like that. And I think that's all I'm going to do. So I can easily use this, as I say, I can use that side still, or I could use that side. It just means that you've decorated your own paper and that you've got something you like to use. So there's these two. So if you wanted to do it onto just a piece of plain card, white card, you could do exactly the same thing with the stamps, but you don't have to use all the stamps. You could just use some of them. So I've got this nice stamp as well that I want to use. It's a Sizzix stamp which I got recently, and I want to use it today to do a bit of background. So it doesn't fit onto a block. So what I did with it was, now what did I do with it? I put so much of it onto the top of here, or did I use this block? Let's just take that off just now. So I could probably use it, but I need to cut my paper right down. and I don't want to do that with my paper. So let's just put this Versa Clear Morning Mist onto here, and I'm just going to start same thing. So I'm going to go along in a line straight across. Doesn't quite fit onto the, so straight across like that. Okay, it's not quite fitting, but that's okay. I wonder if I can just do it with my hand. Instead of trying to do it like that. So I'm just going to do it in a line all the way across, as I said. I'm going to try and hold it at bits. So there we go. It's okay. I'm not worried that it's kind of not quite. It's not quite. You know, it's kind of not fully stamped. That's okay. And then I just want to put this on here, and I've just made a big mess. Right, I don't have a bigger block. Let's see if I can get it on a bit better. That might be better. So the next thing I'm going to do, so this would give you 4 cards if you did this. So the next thing I'm going to do is go down this bit. So if I turn this round, no, I won't turn it around because I want to go. So I just want to go to that side. And just to this side. Okay, and it does look a bit of a mess, but it's not. I promise you it's not. Oh, that wasn't clever. And this side here. And just this bit here. Just fine. And then I'm going to turn it round. And I'm going to fix that bit in the middle. I'm going to turn this round and go down to the end here. So I'm going to start there. Like that. Now I've got bits that I can fill it in. So that's fine. And a piece just here, like that. Okay, so the next bit I want to put on is, so you get infill area as well. Get quite a lot of bits of pieces on here. Right, so you get this infill piece as well, which is quite nice. So I'm just going to do it in this Lisa Horton Interference Ink. So I need to get my block again. I'm just trying to see how much, trying to get as much of that on as possible. So just going over the top of this. I'm just finding these bits. So let's start here. So we're going to just hover over And the way I do it is I kind of match up these twigs, and if they are kind of in the right place, I think that must be probably the best way to put it down. Okay, so yeah, that came out pretty well. So just want to do the same again with all of this. So the same thing, match up this, and obviously match up the leaves as well, but I find if I do it this way, it does. That's it. It's a really nice stamp set, and there's a die as well where you can cut. So that's really nice. And then we're just going to fill into all of these spaces. So there'll be bits that overlap because of where I stamped the first time, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. So just hover before you actually pop it down. And when you're happy, you just pop it down. So whatever stamp you're using, if it happens to be this one or something completely different, that doesn't have to be one that fills in like this either. It could just be, you could even colour it in afterwards if you wanted a bit of colour on your leaves or whatever you decide to use. I mean, if you've got this stamp, I would use it. It's really nice. It's looking good. Right, let's turn it round now. And there's a big mess. I've put a mess on it, but hopefully I'll be able to chop that off. Oh gosh, what a mess I'm making. Right, so here, might be slightly out there. I didn't quite look at what I was doing there as much. That's okay. Just lining it up with that middle, just checking it's in each bit. That's it. There we go. And then we can do these edges as well. So this is here, I think. Yep. It's fine. And then we're going to do this one as well. I keep putting my finger in it. Honestly, surely. Honestly. Right. This one is here as well. There we go. Let's do this one to the side here. Didn't do quite as many on this side actually. And we'll do this one as well at the bottom. I really like this stamp. So nice. So nice. Right. It's this one, isn't it? It's this one. And I've got a wee bit here as well. I'm going to fill in. Actually, I think it's this one, isn't it? There we go. So that's really nice. Now I want to just, where's my water going? It's hiding. Where are you, water? Oh, it's over here. Let's just spritz this a bit. I mean, obviously I could spritz that as well, and that would work, but I'm not going to do that. So here's the rest of the stamp here. So there's extra bits like splodges and things, and you can go in with much more solid leaves as well if you didn't use that, but I like that one. So I'm going to do a couple of splodges here and there, so it's a couple of different ones here that I can use. So there's that one, and I'm going to just we'll do it in a pink, the pinky one, the pinky colour. Oh, let's do it in this one. So this is the Lisa Horton one as well. So we've got a couple of stamps here. Probably better to actually go into the, and just randomly stamp that on wherever you fancy. Because I've got a few whole, like, open bits there, I'm going to pop it on there and there. There, and it doesn't matter that it's over the image because that all adds to the look that I'm going for. So I've done that, and I'm going to get the other wee one. Where did I put it? Oh, here. It's not a wee, it's bigger. So let me see if I can just get a slightly different blue colour. This won't be the same. It'll be similar, but won't be the same. Which will go there. That's slightly darker, which is fine. Which is absolutely fine to have it slightly darker. Go, I think that's fine. Oh, actually a bit over here, because just to balance it up. Right, so what then you can then do is you can add more if you want. Oh, but I'm actually going to stop there, and then, so that would be your piece. So to cut it up and make it into cards, you can cut it to 6 down the middle. Okay, and then you can cut it to 6 here, or something that might be slightly a bit more appealing. So this is not going to be 6, it's like 5 1/4, because I think if I cut it there, that'll be slightly better. And that could be a card. Now obviously I want to chop that wee bit off. So I would chop that bit off, and that could be your card. You could put a sentiment on it and then add anything else if you wanted. So that would be one card. The same here, you would look and see I mean, obviously you can cut it into 6x6 cards, so you'd have 4 6x6 cards. But sometimes, depending on where you've stamped it, you wouldn't want to cut a card necessarily there because that's got a big hole in the middle, although you could put a sentiment over that to hide that. But yeah, just look at each piece and think, oh well, that would be nice, and just cut it to that size. So this is 4 3/4, and that could be, it could actually be cut down a bit more to 4. So that could be a card. It could go that way, or it could go this way, it could go that way, whatever way. You could still add bits to it. So that's 2 cards. That could be a tag. You could just chop, well, I can just chop that off and I could make that into a nice tag as well. Then you can look at this again and you can see, right, I'm going to cut it at 6 again in the middle, so that would be nice. You could cut it down just a bit to 5.5 squared, and then you could put a backing on it. So you could decide, depending on what colours you've used, or you could just put a backing on it. So that's another card. And then you've got this piece here. So you could look at that again and say, not sure about all this. I don't want to cut all that off because, well, I'll be left with a tiny wee bit. So what will I do? There's a blue mark there. So what I would do on this one is I'd cut this off and I'd make that into a bookmark or a tag, whatever. And then that could be another card base. That card at 4.5 by whatever it is, 6. So you get roughly 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, and you've got tags and a bookmark. So that is what I do with a 12 by 12 if I make a background like that. As I say, I can come on again and do one where it's got a grid. I can show you a grid, but basically that's pretty good for a 12 by 12. That's maybe upside down, that's more appealing. But you can see you can use them any way you like. So yeah, and then as I say, these ones would get used the same way. They'd either be backing with something on the top, or I could use them in journals as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and do let me know your thoughts. Please check out my social media pages. Now all the information on the videos is usually in the information box, so please do look in there because there's a lot of stuff in there. There's also a link to buying me a coffee if that's something you would like to help me with. Please do click on that link. I'd be delighted if you'd consider doing that, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye for now.